Okay, sir, you can start.
Okay, sir. Yeah, very warm good evening to everyone. I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to all the participants from across the country to the AICT Atal sponsored 6-day faculty development program on sustainable biofuels from Agri and Agro-Industrial waste by Microbes, organized by the Department of Biotechnology at Sri Venkateswara High-Tech Engineering College Autonomous, Gobichettipalayam, from February 24th to March 1st, 2025. Today marks the fifth day of this enriching FTP. On behalf of Sri Venkateswara High-Tech Engineering College, I once again extend a warm welcome to all of you for the Day 5, Session 9. It's my privilege to extend a special welcome to our esteemed session speaker, Dr. P. Ramalingam Sir, Professor and Head of the Department of Biotechnology at Sri Venkateswara High-Tech Engineering College, Gobichettipalayam, located in the Erode district of Tamil Nadu. Dr. P. Ramalingam Sir is no stranger to us, as he previously conducted Session 3 on Day 2 of our FTP, where he delivered a valuable lecture on pre-treatment methods of lignocelluloid biomass. Today, we are honored to have him once again as our distinguished speaker for Session 9. Without any further delay, let us proceed with the session. I am pleased to welcome Dr. P. Ramalingam Sir to share his insights on the topic of biomass and biorefineries. We welcome you, sir. The session is now over to you. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Participants, within 1 or 2 minutes, the session will start.
Good evening, participants. Once I am happy to interact with you for the second session on biomass refineries. Sir, madam, my voice is audible?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Today I will be discussing on biomass refineries. So biomass refineries is as we know, any development of the country depends upon the energy utilized. So there is any shortage of any electricity, it hinders the development of the country. So as we know, we are depending upon the fossil fuel for the energy source. So if in case in future if we require any biomass for energy requirement, we have to use the biomass. We have to convert the biomass into chemicals and fuels. So without any shortage of any electricity, we should not hinder our development of the country. So as you know, the energy requirement, the need of the energy is increasing continuously because of the increase in the industrialization and population. As you know, every in the country there is industrialization there to meet the people demand, and also there is increase in population. So as we know, the larger part of the petroleum and natural gas reserves is located in a small group of countries, as well in Gulf countries. For example, the Middle East countries have 63% of the global petroleum reserves and are dominant supplier of the petroleum as a crude oil. This energy system is unsustainable because of the equity issues as well as the environmental, economic, and geopolitical concerns that have far-reaching implications. So the only choice before us is the renewable energy from the biomass. The renewable energy is one of the most efficient ways to achieve a sustainable development. As we know, the plants use photosynthesis to convert the solar energy into chemical energy. So this energy is stored in the form of oils, carbohydrate, protein, etc. in plant cells. This plant energy is converted to biofuel, as the biofuels are primary forms of the solar energy. There is an urgent need to design integrated biorefineries that are capable of producing transportation fuels and chemicals. So there are two global transportation fuels are available at present. They are gasoline and diesel fuel. I shall define the biorefining. The process of converting biomass into high value product is nothing but biorefining. Since for example, if we are getting crude oil from the Gulf countries, you have to distill it into different fractions, so to get a pure product. So we are refining the crude oil. Here also, biomass is in the form of energy. So we have to separate into its individual chemicals so that can be used without any problem. So as we know, this breaking of the biomass, where this biorefining can be achieved by 3 or 4 different methods. One of the method is a physical method, the second is a chemical method, third is a biochemical method, and fourth one is a combination of thermochemical process. Thereby addressing the 4 sustainable goals of this SDS, namely, one is the affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, and they are going to achieve the industry, innovation and infrastructure, and lastly with the climate action. Is it climate action nothing but we are going to recycle the carbon dioxide available in the earth, not putting any fresh carbon dioxide into the earth, the atmosphere, because they are not using any fossil fuel. Already carbon dioxide available in the media, the environment is utilized by the plant, and they are drilling the biomass and they are refining it, and again using it. Once again, whatever the carbon dioxide energy use will come back to environment. So there is no further addition of the chemical. So as participants, as you know, these are some of the advantages of this biofuel. What is the renewability? Second is the sustainability, because for a long time without much disturbance, we can make use of the biofuel. Common availability is available everywhere. It's a regional development. It's not confined to one particular region where you have to depend on them for their price and other things. Next is a rural manufacturing jobs. Means you have to harvest the thing, you have to transport it, you have to further process the biomass so that it gives a lot of job opportunities for the rural area. And there is a reduction of greenhouse gases. As we know, greenhouse gas is the one which retains the solar energy within the earth. Thereby, the temperature of the earth increases. With increase the temperature, the iceberg in the southern hemisphere will melt. That increases the sea level. Any increase in the sea level will merge the dry land. So our lands are submerged. So next is biodegradability. Biodegradability means since you are releasing carbon dioxide, and there is no problem. Since as far as petrochemical is concerned, you are releasing the hydrocarbons. The hydrocarbons are, as you know, they are they are not easily degradable by any microorganism. It is toxic to the body. So that any chemical released from biomass is easily biodegradable. Yeah, this was, as you know, this energy crops. Where you can get the biomass, you can get it from the energy source, forestry and forestry waste, and industrial and domestic waste, and also from the agricultural residues. So all this can be taken to a refinery. What is refinery? You are going to fractionate the chemicals. That is in the refinery. We are using biomass. That we call as name as a biorefinery. So we are making use of the microbes. We are making the microbes for this conversion of biomass into chemicals and fuels, because the microorganism work at room temperature and 1 atmosphere pressure, whereas other process they use high temperature and more than 1 atmosphere pressure. So you are using microbes. That's why included in the title for our FDP. So once you use this microbes, you will get biofuels, and also you will get the high value products. The other way, this refinery, biorefinery, we are going to convert biomass into fuels and chemicals. So we are going to, one of the product is a biofuel, the second is heat and electricity, second is biomaterials. And as you know, the biofuels used for to run the vehicle and industry, heat energy is for the transportation, other thing, and the biomaterial is for the homemade and the other objectives. So that whatever the carbon is burned, it is released as a carbon dioxide, and once again that is used by the as a carbon is used by the trees or plants. So that and also some of the waste is nothing but a well. It's a well actually stored well. So this is once again biomass refinery as clearly shown in this picture. This is also the other form. We are going to get the biomass. So we can divide it into sugar platform as a biochemical. Other is a synthetic gas. Synthetic gas. That is nothing but CO and H2. So we can get the green gas by combining heat and power. So we can One is when you use sugar platform, so you get sugar feedstocks. Once the sugar feedstock is applied, you can, by using yeast, you can convert that glucose into ethanol and butanol and propanol, so that can be used as a fuel. And also by the other way, can with synthetic platform from gas, you can, by reduction, you can get many hydrocarbon. So we can get the even diesel also from the syngas by different chemical process. Yeah, this feedstock of the, what are the stock, what are the raw material for this biorefinery? There is your biomass. One is your sustainable biomass is available throughout the year and it can be used. So there is no season. But there is a by sustainable pre-treatment technology, especially by using microbes, we can degrade the biomass into useful energy source. One is the protein, sugars, lignin, oils, and fibers. This can be reused. Yeah, we took one example of this sugarcane mills, integrated sugarcane refineries. So as you know, we are using sunlight, soil, water, fertilizer, pesticide, and labor. We are getting the biomass as a sugarcane, and we are going to harvest it by we are using labor and machinery and fuel, and that sugarcane is transferred to the sugar industry, where the biomass is used, processed, and converted. You get bagasse and cane juice. And cane juice is converted into sugar, whereas biomass you get is converted to powder. This is dried and burnt to get energy. So similarly, you can get the food, fuels, chemicals from this one, and we are going to use the machinery and our fuel. So lastly, let's go to rich market. The common people make use of this all these fuels, chemicals for their activity. They release carbon dioxide. Once again, our plant sources make use of the carbon dioxide. With the help of sunlight, we can get the sugars. That is for the process. This is repeated. Okay. What are biorenewable feedstocks? As you know, biorenewable feedstocks can be a solid, fuel, or converted to liquid or gaseous form. So, for the production of electricity, heat, chemicals, gases, and liquid fuels, all this can be used for our personal and other developments. Linear versus circular economy. This first one picture shows linear economy. That is, you are going to pollute the environment, dispose, use, make, and take. So this is the biomass is raw material taken, make, and use and dispose. This is linear one, bioeconomy. Whereas circular economy is one where we are going to make use of the raw material that is converted into product and can reuse it. Then you have to recycle it. Whereas in the case of linear economy, especially your fossil fuel, is not possible. Whereas the circular economy, you are going to make use of biorefinery for this purpose. This list shows what are the feedstock available and also shows what are the processes available for converting the biomass into value-added product and fuels. And fourth one is your fuels products. The first is feedstock concern. Aquatic biomass can be used. Lignosulfonate formed from the croplands and grasslands can be used. Lignosulfonate wood forest can be used. And oil crops can be used. And star crops can be used. And other primary biomass can be used. When you take the secondary biomass, that is not even microbial biomass, you can say algae or bacteria, residues from the agricultural, residues from the aquatic biomass, residues from the forestry and forest can be used. So next is a residue from the nature and landscape management, residues from the recycled bio-based products can be used. So these are the raw material or feedstock for the refinery. What are the process we are going to use to convert this biomass into energy? One is the biochemical method, second is chemical method, third is your mechanical and thermochemical method, fourth is a thermochemical method. As we already discussed in my last session, that is a aerobic conversion. We can convert into fuel at this one. You can also use anaerobic digestion, and you can use aerobic or anaerobic. Can go to use the microorganism. Whereas because enzymatic process is costly. Whereas fermentation also we are going to make use of the microorganism to convert the glucose into ethanol, and that can be used for as a fuel. Next is your insect-based bioconversion, and next is a chemical method. We are going to use a catalytic method, esterification, hydrogenation, hydrolysis, and methanation, and chemical pulping. In the chemical pulping, we are mainly done in paper and pulp industry, steam reforming, water electrolysis, water gas shift. These are some of the chemical method available to convert the biomass into value-added product and biofuel. The third is your mechanical and thermochemical. Here you are using blending, extracting, and mechanical and thermochemical disruption of the cell wall of the plant cells are done. Next is mechanical pulping. For mechanical pulping, you are going to machinery to pulverize the biomass into so that the microorganism can easily access to the raw material in the plant cell. The fourth method is thermochemical method. We are going to combustion. Combustion in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen, we are going to burn it. So next is the gasification, hydrothermal liquefaction, pyrolysis in the presence of oxygen or sometimes in the absence of oxygen or less amount of oxygen. Next is supercritical conversion. Torrefication is a type of your pyrolysis, and these are some of the four methods. What are the platform available? Which product is a biochar is available, biocoal is available, biocrude is available, biogas is available, bio-oils are available. For example, if you take vegetable oil, so that can be used as a fuel for to run the wheeler, especially lorry, jeeps can be used by this crude oil after removing that waste material. Next is you can use biohydrogen, bionaphtol, can use C5C for sugars, carbon dioxide, lignin, oils, organic fibers, organic juice. These are what are the chemicals, additives, agrochemicals, building blocks, catalysts, enzymes, colorants. These are some of the chemical they are going to get in the biomass. Next is solvent, can get a surfactant. Other thing, product material is concerned, composites and fibers. You can get organic fertilizer, you can get polymers, you can get resins that is used in food industry and animal feed. Energy is concerned, cooling agents, fuels, and heat and power. These are some of the product obtained from this biomass. Yeah. Now, this is an oil refinery. This is a biorefinery. In the oil refinery, we are going to use the crude oil from the Gulf countries. One of the we have Madras refinery is there, Mangalore refinery is there, Bombay refinery is there. Even Jamnagar, it is your Reliance petrochemical industries are there. There they are refining the crude oil, distill it. You'll get kerosene, you'll get diesel, you'll get petrol, you'll get white. So that way, by different temperature, we're going to fractionate the crude oil into different compounds. Different fractions can be used for different applications. Whereas here, refineries, we are making use of carbon dioxide and solar energy, so that carbon dioxide is converted to glucose molecule or any monomer, any monosaccharide or disaccharide or polysaccharide is synthesized. And as you know, this gasification and then leads to saccharification. Next is extraction of the your sugars, especially starch or cellulose. And with that, you can get the syngas, you can get it, or you can get sugar, or oils or fat can be used. Even syngas can be used, can be reduction, you can get it methylene, ethane, and other compound we can get hydrocarbon also. So the sugar is concerned, you can convert into fuels. There is oil and fat that can be converted into biodiesel. So that way we can get biofuel, chemical products, and biomaterials are available. So this is the oil refinery using crude oil from the fossil fuel. So whereas biorefinery, we are making use of the carbon dioxide and sunlight. After using the energy stored in the glucose or protein or oil are converted back to releasing as a carbon dioxide. So the environment is not at all affected. We are using this carbon dioxide, we are releasing the carbon dioxide. No further extraction of the carbon dioxide in the environment. This picture shows the Etihad Airways flight from the Seattle to Abu Dhabi in January 2012 was the first Middle East plant to be powered by the sustainable biofuel. So it is not only new, it is already 12 years back. More than that also. Okay. What are biorefineries? What is the worldwide development? Economic expansion is directly linked to rising energy consumption and its environmental impact. As you know, the development of energy, uh, the development of the country depends upon the amount of current used. So that's what this directly depends upon the electricity we are using. In 2021, global energy related to carbon dioxide emission reached 36.3 GT/CO, the rise of 6%, largest annual increase in the history. So the World Meteorological Organization in May 2023, the average global temperature the 2022 is about 1.15 degrees centigrade, above the average reported in the 1850 to 1900. So this is what is the ultimate effect? Any increase in the temperature will lead to melt the icebergs in the Himalaya and the southern hemisphere, so that the sea level increases. As you know, as sea level increases, it submerges the landline in the sea area. You see here, this picture shows what is the number of biorefineries per country. So India is about we have 18 refineries. Yeah, 18 refineries, but this is less when compared to France, America, and Netherlands and Sweden. So especially in the United States, you can see 637 highest biorefineries in the country. There are a lot of scope. And government of India also extending loan to the incubators, so that there is chance. Still, we are not up to the expectation of the policymakers. This picture shows the location of the refinery plus the bottle. So in Western countries, it is more when compared to US is more, because 687 biorefineries are available when compared to other countries. This biorefinery is the main conversion process. It's a biochemical. These are the different methods available to convert the biomass into fuels and value-added products. So, what is the market dynamics? What are the drivers available in converting the biomass into refinery? So, emerging use of biomass for a variety of applications. What is the necessity of this biorefinery? One is emerging use of biomass to variety of applications. The rising demand for clean and renewable energy. So next is increasing adoption of the green technology, because since we are introducing green technology to reduce the pollution load. But then next is increasing consumption of the energy due to the rapid industrialization. Because of the increasing population, we have to industrialize the process and increase awareness regarding reducing greenhouse gas emission. So even any increase in greenhouse gas will retain the sunlight. It will not the greenhouse gases like even carbon dioxide. If it increases carbon dioxide, that does not allow the sunlight to reflect from the earth. So most of the sunlight is retained on earth. When more sunlight is retained on earth, there is increase in the temperature. And this also biorefinery also curb the carbon footprint using the fuels. That is a global scenario so far we discussed. Next, we shall go to the Indian scenario. As you know, the participants, currently in India, agri-based biomass is a major partner for the energy generation. So we are going to discuss what are the refineries are established in India, and we'll have some introduction about that later. The annual surplus of agriculture-based biomass from the major crops available after utilization of the domestic purpose, cattle feeding and compost feeding is about totally deforestation is 960 million metric tons are available, of which the 230 are available bluntly. So the estimated gross biomass power potential in 2019-20 from the selected crops is about 30,319 megawatt electric at the pan-India level. Therefore, there is need of the hour for an effective utilization of the strategic plan for every type of available biomass available, including biomass-based refineries. renewable energy carriers and our other value-added product, so that we can reduce the use of the fossil fuel for our energy requirement. Okay, this is concerned rapid achievement, advancement of technology because of the hard work of the scientists. We are converting the refinement in the biorefinement technologies. The second is increase the investment by the government of India for a clear fuel. So government of India also, especially the last 10 years, there's a lot of investment by the government on this biorefineries. We shall discuss how much amount and where they have invested, how many industries are made use of this power plant. Next is challenging. What is available? There are some difficulties, challenges also there. What is that? Fluctuating feedstock prices. Means or biomass price is important. Producing fuels and chemicals. Next is stubble burning. As you know, we are going to burn the biofuels without knowing the not a waste. It's a wealth actually. Biomass is some places we are burning it, but we don't know how to make use of it for our fuels and chemicals. That we are just burning it. The stubble burning also pollute the environment. The third challenge is that high cost of biomass and volatile stock prices means the future prices are not fixed one. This is a volatile one because keep on changing. That hampers the biorefinery market growth significantly. So these are some opportunities and these are some of the challenges and to establish a biorefinery. This table shows the cropping details of the major crops available in India. So one is the sugarcane is one. This is rice, wheat, nutritional coarse cereals, pulses, food grains, oil seeds, sugarcane, and cotton, and jute and vesta. So among this one, food grains is grown in more area than other crops. As production is concerned, sugarcane and the food grains are placing in highest biomass production. Yield also there, sugarcane is more when compared to other crops. Because sugarcane is a major source of energy for all the surplus population in India. So this is picture shows biomass potential, especially this Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Haryana are more biomass potential available when compared to Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Karnataka, and little West Bengal. Other areas less. So, okay, either we are going to what are the different biorefineries are available. The biorefineries available depending upon the regional crops. One is some area they use rice, cultivation paddy. Some area they cultivate wheat in case of Punjab, Haryana, other places. You go to Karnataka, they crop this red gram is there in rainy season. So depending upon the state, there is some of the biomass available plenty and at a cheaper rate. So one is this types of refineries concerned. One is a corn-based refineries, wood-based refineries, forest-based refineries, palm-based refineries, and algae-based refineries. Algae-based mainly from the seawater. What are the benefits of the biorefinery in India? How this biorefinery more suitable for India? These are some of the points. So reduce the dependence upon the fossil fuel, contributing to the energy security by replacing the domestic renewable sources. We need not depend upon the Gulf countries for crude oil, and while purchasing the crude oil, we have to lot of foreign exchequers we have to wait. So that also hinders the development. Whereas where biomass is concerned, we need not upon any country, we need not to pay any foreign exchange to purchase any biomass, since it is available in plenty in India. The second is rural development. So the rural development opportunity in India is in transportation, harvesting, and the feeding, and the labors are so rural manpower can be used so that it can avoid the unemployability in the rural area. Because they avoids the movement of people from rural to urban area. Once they go to rural urban area, lot of space, water, electricity, though many problems are there. The people are remain confined to rural area, this problem can be avoided. And it is a enormous impact of the waste. When the people more move to city, so as you know, the disposal of the waste is and is a segregation and degradation is a very problem. Whereas if the people are not moving to city for want of employment, so this problem is minimum in case of rural area. Next is the environmental benefits. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions by substituting the fossil fuel with biofuels. Since we are not using fossil fuel for any of our operations biofuel, there is no further addition of the carbon dioxide to the environment, because already the carbon dioxide already obtained is from the environment. So we are going to reuse it. So there is no further addition of the carbon dioxide and the atmosphere. Next is we produce chemicals. Chemical, once again, this is an eco-friendly chemical. Okay. So here, what are the products that you are going to obtain from the biomass reference? As you know, one is a biofuel. As you know, this ethanol can be added to the engines at different percentage. Once again, we require absolute alcohol is required, because any amount of water will seize the engine. So anhydrous alcohol can be used with other petrochemical fuel, so we can reduce the use of the fossil fuel level. This biodiesel you can prepare it. As you know, biodiesel you can get from the crude oil. From the crude vegetable oil you can get it, or oil, fresh vegetable oil or used vegetable oil, that can be used. Even fat can be used. Biogas, as you know, biogas is nothing but methane, and is main gobar gas is mainly as a methane. This is synthetic fuels. Synthetic fuel we are going to synthesize by the partial oxygen missing. We are going to syngas. We are going to use it. There is nothing but carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide hydrogen. So that is biofuel. Next, biochemical is concerned. Lactic acid you can get it. Bio-based plastics you can get it. Bioplastics you can get solvents. You can get specialty chemicals can be used. Whereas biochar is concerned, you can get byproduct, you can get fertilizer, bioplastics, and animal feed. The bioplastics and but they are degraded by the microorganism, whereas other plastics are not easily degraded by the microorganism. Even if you throw some plastics on the agricultural field, that reduces the fertility of the soil, that reduces the yield also. It's quite interesting that how do we operate the biorefineries, or else how do biorefineries work? Very simple. There is a biomass is collected from the field and is pre-treated and then broken down into its components. Collection is not a problem, and pre-treatment also not a problem. First operation is you have to pulverize the thing. You can do powder so that more surface is available. It is more amount of biofuel and fine chemical can be obtained. Then broken down into its compounds. The compounds are then fermented, transformed, recovered to create a products. So what are the fermentation? Mainly there are not only yeast is available to convert into ethanol, even butanol can be produced, butanediol can be produced. So transformation means and can recover to create a product. So next is your product include biofuels, food, feed, means single cell protein can be, if you grow this when using any of these chemicals, you can produce a single cell protein that can be used. You can produce chemicals and you can get materials for other applications. So that this necessitates the importance of the this biorefinery. This. Okay, what are the key components of the biomass refinery? As participants, as you know, this feedstock supply sources include wood, crop residues, algae, food waste, dedicated crop energy crops like switchgrass, miscanthus. So these are the feedstock supply. These are available throughout the India. These are available throughout India throughout the year. So there is no shortage of any this biomass as far as India is concerned. So next is a pre-treatment. So treatment because what is need of the pre-treatment? If you pre-treatment, the efficiency of the means you get more fuels, more product you can get it. That's why you are going to pre-treat it. Like in the wastewater, you are going to pre-treat that wastewater into the thing. You go next one, so that most of the waste are removed. Like this here, pre-treatment biomass is broken into mechanically, chemically, or biologically to make it suitable for further processing. For example, cellulose is available. So we cannot feed exactly cellulose into for fermentation process because the yeast cannot make use of the cellulose because the cellulose is option in yeast. Then we have to pre-treat the cellulose by algae. Algae has some bacteria, so that you get cellulose or cellulose, so that yeast can make use of it. Next is conversion process. Whatever the pre-treated sample can be converted into its useful form by biochemical or thermochemical or chemical and catalytic process. The chemical process, we are going to make use of the enzymes. You can use bacteria, you can use for fermentation process. For what? To convert the sugar into ethanol. This is a biochemical method. This is thermochemical method. We are going to make use of the heat and chemical process, pyrolysis, and gasification to produce syngas, bio-oil, and biochar. Whereas, as far as the chemical and catalytic process concerned, the catalysts are used to convert the biomass into biofuels and chemicals. There is a trans-esterification of the biodiesel. What is trans-esterification? We are going to use methanol and oil in the process of sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide or zinc. Depending upon the zinc, we are going to break the link in the vegetable oil so that fatty acid is available. The fatty acid react with your sodium methoxide or potassium methoxide. You will get the methyl ester fatty acid. You will get it. What that methyl or ethyl ester fatty acid? That is nothing but your biodiesel. So that the process is nothing but trans-esterification. Next is okay. Now that we are converted into product, but we should get in a pure form. That is done by a product separation and purification method. So extracting biofuels, chemicals, and bioproducts for commercial use. As you know, biofuel is concerned, you should not get any water or any alkali should be there, because any alkali will corrode the engine. Any water in the biofuel will reduce the efficiency of the biofuel. So that the water remaining alkali in the biofuel in biodiesel should be removed. So we require some little purification so that the product can be used maximally. Yeah, this picture we already discussed. Yeah, what are the products that are going to make this biomass? As you know, biomass is concerned. One, we are going to get bio oil by heating process. Syngas also by heating process. And once again, we are getting what are the things we are going to get it by this heating, by pyrolysis. Long chain alkanes you get it, ammonia you get it, and methanol you get it. By this ammonia, you can produce the biofertilizers. That's ammonia. Then is ethanol you can get it. You can use simple carbohydrate like fructose. Fructose means, for example, you take inulin. Inulin is a storage form of the energy in some tubers. So that way you can get a fructose. So next is you take bio oil, you'll get the heavier fraction, lighter fraction. The lighter fraction is rich in aromatic hydrocarbon, but lighter fraction is you'll get the gas that's containing small alkanes and alkenes. And the other thing you get alkane naphthalene like mixture of hydrocarbon. So then that can be mixed with the naphthalene like mixture of this carbohydrate from the logs in See, you get butane-1,3-diene, you get it, you get propene, you get it, and ethene, you get all these are hydrocarbon that is can be used as a fuel for this energy purpose. Next, you go to the simple carbohydrate like inulin, polysaccharide. You'll get fructose. You'll get a mixture of oxygenazes. So you get hydrocarbon and furans. So this hydrocarbon and furan can be used as a fuel. Okay. So in a simpler form, we can say products. By fermentation, you will get ethanol or butanol, and both. And by using ethanol, whatever the ethanol we are getting by fermentation, that can be converted to ethyl tributyl ether. You can get it, that can be used for many applications. Next is by MTO, you can get the process, you can get the gas, then to methanol, then which is mixed with the petrol. So that is used as a fuel. Next is hydrogen within syngas can be formed by gasification of biomass, that's by pyrolysis. Can be converted into ammonia and by addition of the nitrogen from the air. As you know, our atmosphere contains 71 to 72% of nitrogen. So if you pass the nitrogen gas to your syngas, so you can get ammonia, and that is used to make the fertilizers, and also you can get the propane one all. So next is use of ethanol for the dehydration. You will get ethane, an important chemical with many applications. Plants in southeast of Brazil been built for this process. In Brazil, what they are doing, they are producing ethanol. From the ethanol, they are going to get the ethane, and subsequently to the alkane, that is make use of the as a fuel. By thermodynamic chemical thermal process, once again, this is two route: high temperature, pressure control region, that is going to get gas, that is the process called gasification. And the second process use the temperature, but in the absence of oxygen. What you will get? You will get carbon and bio-oil. This process is in your pyrolysis. So these are the some of the, though we get simple product, the simple product by simple hydrogenation, other process, we can make it into hydrocarbon and again biofertilizer. So there is advantage of this. These are some of the biorefinery product from the biomass. So since, as I said, since we are getting ethane, so we can get long chain carbon, we can get it. Alkene can be converted into trimer. There is hexene 1, there is 6 carbon, passed over the chromium based catalyst. Okay, next is hexene 1 interact with your molecule of the ethane and indium based catalyst to form a 3,6 dimethane cyclohexane. This dehalogenated 1,4-dimethyl benzene, then passed through aluminum oxide into the zinc, will get an aromatic hydrocarbon. As you know, most of our HSD, high speed diesel, petrol, they contain hydrocarbon. So energy is more in the hydrocarbon than your glucose molecule. Okay, initially from the biomass, you can produce a synthetic gas. From the syn gas, you can produce a hydrocarbon wax. Then that hydrocarbon wax can be converted into smaller alkanes. The smaller alkanes can be used in the fuel, liquid fuel, diesel, kerosene, and naphtha. The size depends upon their usage or volatility. So by burning, you can get the syngas, that can be the hydrocarbon wax. The hydrocarbon wax contains smaller alkanes. The smaller alkanes can be converted into liquid fuel, diesel, kerosene, and naphtha. It depends upon the size of our volatility. This other flow diagram shows the product they are getting from the biomass. From the syngas, ethanol, and butane all. From the synthesized gas, you can get propanol and you get methanol. So that can be all together produces a propane, then you get polypropane. So from the ethanol, you can convert it by reduction, you get this ethene, then polypropane, polyethylene, you can get it. From butane onol, by reduction, you get butene. All things are hydrocarbon. From the this is simple hydration. And using addition of you can convert the easy process. Okay, this is all about some introduction, some chemical process with chemical method used. Okay, now we shall see the biorefineries in different states, one or two states, and nationwide. So Tamil Nadu is the home to the world first refinery, which uses solid waste generated from the tanneries in Vellore district. That work is done by a group of scientists led by the Dr. Shanmugam, eminent scientist now working in the CLRI. This unit of CSIR has succeeded in developing a biorefinery. It produces biodiesel, bioethanol, biohydrogen, biomethane, and this biomethane and this is used as a fuel in Delhi Transport Corporation. And for this, he was awarded a prize done by the Prime Minister of India a few years back. So, because of the tremendous and hard work done by the Dr. Sanmugam and other group, the tannery waste is converted to useful energy. As the tanneries are spread across the country to generate the 2,400 tons of solid waste per day. Imagine, if you are not in a position to degrade this waste, it will keep on accumulating and spoil the soil and other atmosphere. So this entire waste would be used to generate power, biodiesel, cooking oil, without producing any greenhouse gases or waste of any kind. So really you have to appreciate the scientists in the CLRA and other areas for their converting the waste into energy. Not a waste, it's a wealth actually. But we don't know how to convert the waste into energy. That's all. So only the okay. Then we take the Indian biorefinery. Atal Bioenergy Private Limited aims to cultivate the oil-rich energy crops and process waste streams from the oil commodities. Even 10 years back, we have made use of crude oil to run the engines to lift the water from well for the irrigation purpose. So it didn't feel any carbon dioxide. Some problem was there, but still in crude vegetable oil can be used. Some choking other things were there, but still if you remove the waxes, other thing that can be avoided. So these crops are energy crops. Energy crops, for example, Jatropha. It's a non-renewable, so that can be used. So if you use Jatropha, you can. So there is no food scarcity. Whereas you use other crops, the food scarcity they will. These crops will be used for biodiesel production, catering both the domestic, Indian, and international markets. So this project aims with the 2018 biofuel policy in India, which mandates 5% biodiesel usage. If you mix 5% of the biodiesel with the rice with diesel, so we can save release of carbon dioxide environment. That will be economical. So the project aims aligns with the 2018 oil policy in India, which mandates 5% diesel usage. Shifting the production of biodiesel to fast-growing non-food energy crops on marginal areas represent the optical strategy to establish a fully integrated agriculture manufacturing platform in India. So here, non-edible oil plants are used for this biodiesel production. Okay, what are the biodiesel companies are established in India? Sorry, especially in Tamil Nadu. So Mohan Breweries Limited in Chennai, Banana Sugars in Satyamangalam, Svhec in Coimbatore, Riverway Agro Products in Tirunelveli, and Dharma Sugars in Ambassador. They are major biodiesel companies in Tamil Nadu. The sources Tamil Nadu Agri-Tech Company. Even okay, then as you know, the shrimp is process the waste. The people they established the shrimp cell refinery in India. India's first shrimp industry is established in Longshore and Technology Private Limited in Maharashtra. Receives technology support from the ICAR, Central Institute of Refineries, advancing the circular economy for shrimp processing industry. Whatever waste we are getting from the shrimp can be converted into energy or fuel. So this is done by in a ground-breaking achievement. ICAR CFT, which supported the creation of India's first shrimp winery. This innovative initiative tackles the critical challenge of the shrimp processing waste, setting of the new standard for sustainable practices in the fisheries sector. So the waste in the near area can be avoided by this shrimp cell biorefinery. Okay, next we'll go to the Godavari in Andhra Pradesh. This Godavari refinery is one of the largest producers of ethanol in India and a pioneer in manufacturing ethanol-based chemicals in India. As you know, this is a diversified product by the company portfolio, company bio-based chemicals, sugar, rectified spirits, ethanol, other grades of ethanol, and power. The only company in India to have such a vast portfolio of the bio-based products and also largest manufacturer MPO worldwide. It is one of the only two manufacturers of natural 1,3-bio-glycan globally. The fourth largest manufacturer of ethyl acetate in India and the only company in India to produce a bio-ethyl acetate, whereas otherwise the ethyl acetate obtained from the petrochemical industry. As you know, this ethyl acetate used as a solvent in many chemical industries. And this Godavari refinery is done at two places. One is the manufacturing facility, one is in the Sakarwadi. This Samirwadi is manufacturing facility near the Bagalkot district in Karnataka. This is in the northern part of the Karnataka Bagalkot. Sakarwadi manufacturing is in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. The Samirwadi in Bagalkot district, Karnataka, is integrated facility dedicated for manufacturing of ethanol, sugar, and power. So the Sakarwadi manufacturing facility is currently dedicated to manufacture bio-based chemicals. So first one is in the ethanol, sugar, and power. The second is based on the bio-based chemicals. And what other activities this Godavari refineries utilize all byproducts and minimize waste as part of their operations. So that gas waste is once again you have to treat it properly, otherwise it will create an environmental pollution. So this installation of boiler at the Samirwadi manufacturing facility, which uses Svhec. So Svhec, what is Svhec? One of the distillery waste. As you know, in the refinery, we are going to get the alcohol, we are going to distill it, we get the ethanol, and whatever the residue left out is nothing but distillery waste. So that once again, that is rich in carbon, other metals, I mean sodium, potassium. These are there, but you cannot do directly for application for agriculture purpose. You have to dilute it in such a way that so that this suitable for the agri field. So this is since this distillery waste can we generate the steam for different distillery operations. Yeah, this is the next is your algal biorefinery. As you know, the algae in the freshwater is tapped, whereas the algae in the sea is yet to be tapped. What are the major advantage of making use of the algal refinery for this purpose? The advantages are use of industrial refusals as inputs, for example, carbon dioxide, wastewater, and diesel in plant products. So the large product basket with the energy derived C is biodiesel, methanol, ethanol, and hydrogen. Non-energy derived energy nutraceuticals, fertilizer, animal feed, and other bulk chemicals as products. And not only these two things, and also not competing with the food production. There is a non-arable land and no freshwater requirements. Because no freshwater is required, since it is sea water. Better growth yield and lipid content than crops. These are some of the advantages of using algae for algal biomass for biorefinery purpose. This picture shows how algal biodiesel works. So gas and water conditions, we are going to see CO2, we will get algal growth, and you get algae. Especially there are algae, major algae and minor algae, microalgae. Even both can be used, but relatively microalgae also better. It's a better chance to get macro. Depends upon the purpose. Next you get oil extraction. Then you get algal oil. This algal oil can be converted into biodiesel. So Depending on the application, it varies. Purification and conversion of the algal oil into either biofuel or products. Because in this case, whatever the water you are using for this one can be reused. That's also there. That's also, you can also minimize the additional fresh nutrient for their growth. Yeah, this picture shows biogas, bio-oil, biochar, biodiesel you can get from the microalgae. As you know, when you come to microalgae is preferable. There are disadvantages because harvesting is one problem. Otherwise, it's okay. Microalgae cultivation and harvesting is easy, whereas collection is easy. Whereas collection of the microalgae is different. Fermentation of residues, salt mass, you can get bioethanol and biobutanol. So biomass you will get it, you will get the pre-treatment is required. By treating by pre-treatment method, you get what are the pre-treatment method? Drying, milling, and maceration, means crushing and making powder. Thermal and exclusion method, you can get it. So whatever the extraction of the processed biomass, you get nutrients, biomaterial, minerals, lipids, proteins, and chemical can be applied. So these are some of the products that you are going to have from this algal. So there is a lot of research is going on, and to extract the fuel and biochemical from the algal source. Okay, what are the different institutes available on algal biomass and biorefinery research work is done? CSCR, especially the Central Center for Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute, is doing remarkable work and is tapping the algae from the seawater. Marine algal research in Mandapam near Chennai is also doing a quite a bit of work. Algal research in biotechnology laboratory, National Institute of Technology, Trichy also involved in this biorefinery. National Center for Aquatic Animal Growth, Cochin University also involved in this biorefinery. National Facility for Marine Cyanobacteria, NRMC, Bharat University, Trichy also working on algal biomass and biorefinery R&D. Alfina Biorefinery University in the USA. So here one interesting thing is that so converse, if you get any oil that can be easily converted into biodiesel. Only thing, either you require ethanol or methanol. Usually, most cases the biodiesel production is percentage of production is more with methanol than ethanol, because the ethanol it takes the conversion is yield is less when compared to using methanol. So whereas as far as all the vegetable oils, as you know, this free fat is available in most of the vegetable oil, maybe pungami oil, other thing. If FFA content is less than 2, acid oil is less than 2, so we can convert the oil into vegetable oil into biodiesel by alkali method. If the acid oil is more than 2, if you use alkali, so since free fat acid content is more, as you know, you'll get more soap. That is difficult to see. In these cases, if the alkali, the free fat acid content is more, you can go for acid catalyst. Acid can be used as a catalyst so that the free acid will not enter the biodiesel production. And even you can use other catalysts also for this biodiesel production. And any vegetable oil can be converted into biodiesel. So once again, after the biodiesel is produced, we have to remove the alkali used. You have to use the residual alkali in the biodiesel. Otherwise, the residual alkali in the biodiesel will corrode the engine, and water should be also removed, should be heated. Once you heat heat the biodiesel above 100 degree for half an hour, that remove most of the your residual water or the moisture, so that it will not affect the engine performance. So a lot of effort also is going, or remarkable work is done in the USA, especially in Alpina biodegradable plant in USA. Okay, so throughout the world and in other places, a lot of conferences, international conferences are conducting, or communities conducting, universities are conducting. One such is going to held in 4th and 5th June 2025, Grace, Austria, and those who are interested, you can do some work, or and you can apply for this work. Okay, what we have to control biodefinition is the conversion of biomass feedback into value-added chemicals and fuels with minimal waste and emissions. Right? Conversion of the biomass feedback into value-added chemicals and fuels with a minimal waste and emissions. As you know, whatever the waste you are getting from the biorefinery is eco-friendly one, but whatever the waste you are getting from the crude oil refinery is pollute the environment. That is there. So that then since India, countries like India, biorefineries is a better choice when compared to other countries. Still, awareness and government policies are there. We have to tap the government policies and graph the money, and we have to convert the biomass into value-added product. One of the other challenges is the price of the product. So government should support the entrepreneur to initiate this one, so that subsidy other thing can be given initially, so that once it is picked up, so it is useful to the environment. I really appreciate you for your patience listening to my lecture, and any doubt, I try to clarify it. Thank you, Ananda.
Participants, do you have any questions? Dear participants, do you have any questions or any interaction with session expert?
Good evening, sir.
Really?
Sir, I just wonder, there are lots of research has been already done in biofuel production and bioethanol production, but
Yes,
yet,
ma'am.
the feasible production process has not been, commercially, like till the need it has not been there. But still, I wonder whether the research over there are still required to refine the work. Is the research over there? It's very good or already done? I'm still, to take up with a great work like that.
Yeah, you're really a good question, good doubt. And as you know, this especially for ethanol can be used for biodiesel production, but the rate of conversion of biodiesel production is less when you use ethanol than methanol. And once again, use of methanol is once again problem, misused by the other thing. Some government policies also required, and once again the fluctuation is there, and government policy, especially the government started for Jetropa, but after few years, I think there is no much interest shown by the policymakers on this subsidy for this Jetropa, and that is on the ethanol is concerned. We are some of the things I cannot speak here, so it requires more attention of the our policymakers should be a visionary one, so that hurdles can be avoided only when policymakers have some vision on the Indian development.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yes, madam.
Is there any apex body in the country which leads the development of biofuels?
Yeah, there is a biofuel. This is a Department of Biotechnology, Government of India was the nodal agency for this Jatropha cultivation, other thing, and after when it was started, it was tremendously progressing. After that, and there was no much fund allotted to this Jatropha, other non-edible oils, and really is wondering. I don't know this policymakers or the scientists really that we don't know really. It was not as fast as earlier this one, and subsidy was given by this one, and really I don't know the mistake of the government, the policymakers. We don't know the recommendation was not accepted by the government, by the scientists. Really, still I'm not understanding. But Department of Biotechnology (DBT) is a nodal agency for this all these things. And ICR in coordination with the ICR also there, and both agencies are nowadays not active on this non-edible oil cultivation and converting the crude oil that into biodiesel.
Okay, so are you saying that the government, basically the state governments and the Indian government and its apex scientific bodies, are not adequately funding or leading these initiatives? So they are happening in pockets around India rather than being led as a big initiative?
Yeah, it was initially the great interest and other thing grant was released by the government of India, and later after 6 to 7 years after that Jatropha, all the things, and even scientists at different agricultural universities, and they are they are not clear what to do. That's all. That is a status now, madam.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Participants, do you have any other interaction? Dear participants, do you have any other interactions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now I welcome Mr. Kadirvel, Assistant Professor, Sri Venkateswara High-Tech Engineering College, to deliver the keynote of session 1.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, everyone. Biomass and biorefineries offer a promising path toward a sustainable future by addressing environmental challenges, reducing fossil fuel dependence, and fostering circular economies. The development of biorefinery technologies, which convert biomass into biofuels, chemicals, and materials, has great potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and enhance energy security. By integrating biorefineries into existing industrial systems, we can create a synergy between traditional industries and green technologies, driving the transition to a low carbon economy. However, to fully unlock this potential, continuous research, innovation, and policy support are essential to ensure the sustainable use of biomass resources. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone here for their attention and participation. And a special thanks to Dr. P. Ramalingam for sharing his valuable insight on this important topic. Together, let's work towards a greener and more sustainable future. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Sarmila, ma'am, you are raised your hands, ma'am. Do you want any interaction? Dr. Sarmila, ma'am, do you want any interaction, ma'am? I think no. Okay. Now I invite Pavitra ma'am, Assistant Professor, English Department, to deliver the vote of thank for this session.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You continue.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Sri Venkateshwara High-Tech Engineering College and the participants of today's session, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. P. Ramalingam, sir, Professor and Head in the Department of Biotechnology at Sri Venkateshwara High-Tech Engineering College for his invaluable contribution on the fifth day of ninth session Atal Faculty Development Program. Your lecture was very insightful and thoughtful, sir, and we appreciate your time and effort you devoted to preparing on the topic of biomass biorefinery, sir. We learned a lot from your enlightening lecture, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Once again, I wish to convey my heartfelt gratitude to our today's session speaker, Dr. P. Ramalingam, sir, and the participants.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, our feedback form for this session 9 is updated in the message, same as well as in the WhatsApp group. So kindly fill your feedback form. Same time, past 3 days, 4 days attendance was updated in the Atal portal. So kindly log in your individual Atal portal and kindly verify whether your attendance are marked or not. Okay. Past 4 days attendance are updated in the Atal portal. So kindly verify your individual login whether the attendance is completed or not. Okay. If you have any issues, kindly message to me in private. Don't message in the group. Kindly message in the private. Definitely I will check whether you are attended or not. Okay. So your attendance may updation based on the recording session. Okay. So kindly check whether you are attending all the sessions or not. So based on the recording session only, we are updating your attendance in the web portal. So kindly check in your individual login. If you have any queries and any issues, kindly contact me or otherwise text me through the WhatsApp privately. Don't share any messages in the group regarding your attendance. Thank you so much. Same time, our next session number 10 is going to initiate at 7:30 p.m. Our session expert will join soon. After joining our session expert, we will start our session number 10. So please stay in the same link. We will start at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much, participants. Whether you have any interaction with me, you have any doubt?
Hello,
Tomorrow the session start at 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow the time change, no?
Sir, I will answer. Dear participants, actually our principals are interpreted about that. Our tomorrow session, already I given a message, same as well as mail about tomorrow session, day 6, March 1st session is changed to 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The first session is 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The message was updated in the WhatsApp group. Once again, I will update in the WhatsApp group today night and tomorrow morning also. So kindly follow the rescheduled session. You have only one session was rescheduled, which was already scheduled at 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. was rescheduled to 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Rest of all sessions will be in the same as per our schedule, 3:30 to 5 o'clock and 5 o'clock to 6:30. Okay, so as per the schedule, we are following the rest of sessions. The only one session, because of the foreign expert timing issues, we are going to initiate at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Kindly verify your WhatsApp message also. Also, I updated in the mail. So thank you
You
so
mean
much.
tomorrow?
Please stay.
You mean tomorrow, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow only.
Okay.
1st
Okay.
March,
All right.
day 6.
Okay. All right. Thiru, I sent you a message saying I wanted Dr. Shanmugam of Sheshasai Paper Mills number. You didn't send it to me.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Extremely sorry. I will share now. I will share now.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. You
Hello,
are
sir.
conducting the session very well, Thiru. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Any
Hello,
other,
sir.
ma'am?
Sir, tomorrow, the second next evening section only, we have an exam, right?
Yes, ma'am. 6:30, 5:30 to 6:30, you have examination. That is in the same manner. There
Okay.
was no changes in the examination schedule.
Okay, fine. So, do we have any model questions out there?
Yeah, ma'am. I will try to share, ma'am, because we prepared some question banks. I will try to share, ma'am.
Yeah,
Madam,
if you're sharing means
model
that's
question
useful
paper
for
will
us.
not be given. Model question paper will not be given. You can inform them.
Sorry?
Madam, model question paper will not be given you. You have to directly appear for the objective type questions. There is no model question paper.
Okay, okay.
Okay, participants, please take the same link up to 7:30. We will start soon.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Sir, are they audible, sir?
yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, shall we start now, sir?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. So, good evening, all the participants. Our session expert joined with us. So, we are going to start our session number 10. Now, I invite Pavitra, Assistant Professor, English Department, Sri Venkateswara High Tech Engineering College, to deliver the chief guest introduction.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are clear.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Sri Venkateshwara High Tech Engineering College and the participants, I extend a warm welcome to our 10th session speaker, Dr. M. Rajasimhan, Professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering at Annamalai University for this Atal Faculty Development Program. Dr. Rajasimhan is a distinguished academician and researcher with an illustrious career spanning over 26 years in the field of chemical engineering. His expertise encompasses environmental engineering, wastewater treatment, nanotechnology, bioreactors, and optimization, among many others. With over 220 papers published, 10 book chapters, and 5,800 citations, his contributions to scientific research and innovation are truly commendable. He has also served as an associate editor for reputed international journals and as a guest editor for special issues in prestigious publications. His leadership in professional bodies, including being a council member of the Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers and life member of ISTE and IICHE, reflects his dedication to advancing the field. Apart from his academic and research achievements, Dr. Rajasimhan has guided 12 PhD scholars with 6 ongoing scholars and 25 ME Tech students. His commitment to mentorship and knowledge dissemination is inspiring. His numerous accolades, including the Best Researcher Award from Annamalai University in 2017, 2018, 2020, 2024, and Dr. K. Anjireddy Award from IICH in 2024, stands as a testament to his excellence. It is indeed a privilege to have him with us today to share his knowledge and insights. Once again, a warm welcome to Dr. M. Rajasimhan. We welcome you, sir. Let us look forward to a stimulating and enriching experience. The session is all yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Can I share my PPT or
Yes, sir.
you are
Yes,
sharing
sir.
my PPT?
I will give a right, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I have given, sir. Rights given, sir.
Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. PPT visible, sir. Audio clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. Shall I start with this window?
Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Just a second. I am unable to move it. Sorry, can I check it? I am unable to move the next slide.
Sir, audible, sir. You just change one or two slides, sir. We will check, sir.
Yeah, that is why I'm not able to change it. 1 second.
Otherwise, I will share, sir. I will share, sir. I will share the screen, sir.
Yeah, I'm not able to move the slides.
No problem, sir. I will share that. Sir, you just close. Sir, you just close your sharing, sir. I will, sir.
1 second.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sir. I will, sir. Sir, shared, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. So good evening to all. So the topic of this session is enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose by membrane bioreactor. So I will start with the basics of enzymatic hydrolysis process and then the application of membrane reactor for the enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose and the problems and the solutions. So I will start with the basics of cellulose. Next slide, please. Yeah, thanks. Cellulose. So probably all of you know this is a naturally occurring polymer which is formed by photosynthesis process. So in the last few decades, since the cellulosic materials are renewable and easily available, plenty of work has been carried out using cellulosic materials in the field of biotechnology, that too for biofuel production. So since the topic of this FDP is alternative biofuels, I am concentrating on the biofuel sites. So these cellulose fibers contains both amorphous and crystalline regions. The crystalline regions are more difficult to degrade than amorphous regions. Hence, the fraction of total cellulose that is crystalline is an important parameter which affects the rate and also the extent of enzyme hydrolysis. So probably you might know crystallinity index, which is defined as the percentage of total cellulose that is crystalline. So there are a number of physical chemical pretreatments which were developed to reduce the crystallinity and also to increase the surface area of the cellulose. It is also known the rate and extent of cellulose hydrolysis are influenced by the structural features of the cellulosic materials. The two structural features which are considered as most important are surface area and crystallinity. In order to improve the hydrolysis into fermentable products, there are various physical, chemical, and biological methods are available. So among these methods, enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose is attractive. So which is the core for this presentation. Next slide. So I'll start with the basics, that is lignocellulosic bioethanol production. Previous slide. Yeah. So the increase in the population and industrialization results in the escalation of energy demand, with the fossil fuels being the main source. But the fossil fuels are non-renewable and their use has adverse effect on the environment. So it is necessary to find a more sustainable and greener source of energy. So the biofuels are renewable energy sources which are produced from biomass. The biofuels are receiving more attention as potential substitutes for fossil fuels, particularly in the transport sector, due to its sustainability and low environmental impact. Next
So
slide.
slide previous one.
Second slide. Previous one. Previous one. Previous one. Yeah, this one. So these lignocellulosic biomasses are considered more appropriate for biofuel production when compared to other feedstocks like sugarcane, because these are generally not used as a direct feed source, and also most of the biomasses are considered as waste. So this makes the biomass as a sustainable feedstock for biofuel production. Next slide. So the feedstocks which are biological origin, this is converted into different bio-based products. These are classified into three types based on the composition and origin of the biomass. That is first, second, and third generation feedstocks. So nowadays we have gone for fourth generation also. So the first generation biomass is edible biomass that is easy to process. The most common types of first generation feedstocks for ethanol production are starch-rich materials and sugar crops. The sugar crops such as sugarcane, sugar beet, sugar sorghum, and the biomass which are composed of mono or disaccharides. Whereas the starch-rich crops like corn, wheat, they are primarily composed of starch. So due to their composition, the conversion of those feedstocks to bioethanol is easy and also inexpensive. The lignocellulose and algae are the best example for second and third generation feedstocks. It contains non-food part residues. Unlike the first generation biomasses, lignocellulosic biomass is the inedible part of the plant, which is mainly composed of cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. The agricultural wastes like straw, corn stover, corn cob, bagasse, and forestry waste like wood chips, industrial waste. These are all examples of lignocellulosic biomasses which can be used for ethanol production. The algae biomasses, on the other hand, they are composed of triglycerides, which can be utilized for the production of other energy products. Sometimes carbohydrates can also be used for ethanol production. So these are the feedstocks available. Next slide. So the lignocellulose, this is comprised of three main components, as you know, cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. So in addition to that, there may be extractive and also ash are also found in tracer amounts in this structure. So normally the composition is around 40 to 50% of cellulose, 25 to 30% of hemicellulose, and 15 to 20% of lignin are present in the cellulosic materials. So we have to convert these cellulose into glucose during the enzymatic hydrolysis process. Next slide. So as an example, I took the conversion of lignocellulose to bioethanol process. So the diagram shows the conversion process. Here the cellulose, which is composed of uh, repeated units of cellobiose, which has two glucose molecules linked together by beta-1,4 glycosidic linkage. So these repeated units of glucose gives rise to a glucan unit, which is estimated to be between 2000 to 2700 units. So the degree of polymerization is determined by the glucan units, which is contained in the cellulose structure. The polymer chains constituting cellulose are linked through covalent and non-covalent bonds forming microfibrils. The structure of cellulose is dominated by a crystalline structure in which the microfibrils are arranged in parallel, while the rest of the structure is amorphous in nature. So if you take this process, the process includes the first step will be prime physical pre-treatment. So this includes mainly size reduction through mechanical methods, and then followed by other pre-treatment process. Then comes the hydrolysis, which is the scope of this presentation, and then where the polysaccharides are broken down into monomers like glucose, xylose, and arabinose. And in the last step, that is in the fermentation step, these simple sugars are converted into ethanol. So I'm going to concentrate on the physical pre-treatment process. So during the pre-treatment, so there are different methods are available. So during this pre-treatment, this lignocellulosic biomass is converted, which are actually recalcitrant, which is converted to readily forming enzymatic hydrolysis. First, let us consider the physical pre-treatment process. So the most of the biochemical conversion process involves physical pre-treatment. The main aim is to reduce the particle size, which in turn increase the surface area to volume ratio, and also reduces the degree of polymerization, and also the crystallinity of the biomass, which in turn enhances the conversion rate of hydrolysis process. For an example, if you take enzymatic hydrolysis of cotton cellulose yield, this yield is increased up to 99.8% when the particle size is reduced from 25 to 1 micron meter. So there are different types of physical treatments are available for size reduction, like chipping, shredding, milling, and grading. So these processes are selected based on the particle size required. Coming to the second method, chemical pre-treatment, which is further classified into acidic, alkaline, oxidative treatments. Mostly in so each process have their own advantages and disadvantages. That is acidic, alkaline, and oxidative pre-treatment methods. Then comes the physicochemical pre-treatment methods. Here also we are having several processes like solvent fractionation, steam explosion, liquid hot water, and CO2 explosion, like that. So these methods are also has their own advantages and disadvantages. And then comes the biological pre-treatment process, which is one of the widely used process. So in biological pre-treatment, normally they use bacteria and fungi like Bacillus species or Trichoderma species in order to they degrade the lignocellulose structure. But here the drawback is the time. It is a time consuming process, and also the yield of cellulose is very less. So these are the drawbacks. So in order to overcome the drawbacks of other methods, we are choosing the hydrolysis process. So there are different ways by which the cellulose can be hydrolyzed to fermentable sugars, chemical, biological, other methods like gamma ray, electron beam, microwave radiation, etc. But chemical and biological methods, they are most widely used due to their feasibility and also effectiveness. Next slide. First, we will see chemical hydrolysis. So it involves the use of chemicals, mostly diluted and concentrated acids. So the use of concentrated acid helps in enhancing the sugar yield and can be carried out under low temperature. But the thing is, the acid consumption is high, and also downstream processing is required in order to purify the product. So another drawback of chemical hydrolysis is these dilute acid hydrolysis has low yield, and also it requires high temperature, and also it produces non-useful byproducts. So that is why most people prefer enzymatic hydrolysis over chemical hydrolysis. Next slide. So enzymatic hydrolysis, which is the heart of this presentation. So the massive applications of different cellulases in various fields attracted attention for their use in bioenergy production. So the main source of commercial cellulases are Trichoderma resin and Aspergillus niger. So the cellulase plays in the enzymatic hydrolysis. So it is a multi-component system that breaks the polymer chains into fermentable sugars. Actually, it is composed of three types of enzymes: endoglucanase, cellobiohydrolysis, and beta glucosidases. The endoglucanases works synergistically with exoglucanase, and the hydrolysis initiate with the endoglucanases, which attacks the polymer chain at random sites, creating the reducing and non-reducing ends. Whereas the exoglucanase then acts on those ends to convert them to shorter polysaccharide chains, which consist of two glucose units, which we call it as cellobiose. The last component, beta glucosidase, this will break down cellobiose from the midpoint, producing two glucose units. So the latter is considered the rate limiting step for the hydrolysis due to its sensitivity of the enzymes towards the end product glucose, which leads to product inhibition. So the earlier studies shows that each cellulose microorganism exhibits the lack of one or more types of cellulases, leading to inefficient hydrolysis. The widely used species Aspergillus niger, which are found to be mostly beta glucosidases producers and lack the other two. So the different cellulase recipes from different sources are key to enhance the conversion rate. It is reported that the catalytic activity of commercial cellulases, which are derived from Trichoderma resin and also the Aspergillus niger, can be improved by the addition of crude cellulases, which derived from different fungal strains. So the pathway is shown in the figure. So I'll explain the mechanism in the next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So this is the reaction mechanism of hydrolysis of cellulose. So this is similar to other enzymatic reactions. So this diagram shows the mechanism and also kinetics of each step involved in the hydrolysis of cellulose. So in the first step, the enzyme is adsorbed onto the surface of the substrate, after which there are two pathways are possible. One is enzyme either binds to an active site, which is denoted as productive binding, or to a non-active site, which is denoted as non-productive binding. So in the first pathway, the enzyme substrate complex is formed and it can proceed to the catalytic reaction step, during which the glycosidic bond is broken. The enzyme product complex is formed and then separated to release the product from the enzyme, and the enzyme active site is free again for another binding. So therefore, the rate of the catalytic reaction is directly proportional to the rate of substrate producing binding to the active sites. But if the substrate is adsorbed through a non-productive pathway, then the substrate acts as an inhibitor and the catalytic process is inhibited. So no product is formed in this pathway and the enzyme is inactive. So it proves the fact that the enzymatic hydrolysis progresses and the substrate surface dynamically changes. So cellulose is composed of hydrolyzable and non-hydrolyzable parts. At the enzyme substrate surface, the enzyme break down cellulose, leaving the inert at that layer, proceeding to the next layer, which contains cellulose and inert too. So as the reaction continues, the enzyme is absorbed deeper into the substrate, shrinking the available substrate surface area. So this is basic reaction mechanism. Based on this, different people suggested different mechanisms. I can show you this in the next slide. Next slide. So these are the different mechanism for cellulose kinetics, which were proposed by different researchers. So the mechanism shown in the first mechanism in the equation 1, it is proposed to explain the burst phase for a soluble substrate and a non-processive enzyme, which cleaves cellulose randomly and not processivity. So the processive action of the enzyme means the enzyme bind to the cellulose and it cleaves it for multiple cycles continuously before it dissociates. So this model suggests that the enzymatic reaction produces two products. One of them that is P1. It is denoted as P1, which is produced rapidly at the beginning of the reaction. With the K1 and K2 is larger than K3. That is kinetics of the reaction 1, 2, and 3. So this enzyme then accumulates as EP2 complex, which then dissociates slowly with the time to produce P2. That is the last product. So it can be proven by monitoring the concentration of P1 and P2 as a function of time, in which the P1 increases during the initial stage of the reaction before it goes to steady state. But the key factors affecting the mechanism of the enzymes are product inhibitions, which is not considered in this mechanism. So to account for the processive action of the enzyme, the first reaction or the equation is modified to include the multiple cycles of catalytic action of cellulobiohydrolase, which is shown in equation 2 of the first mechanism. In this model, the cellulose cleavage is occurred. Then the enzyme cleaving of the cellulose strand is occurred consecutively in a processive manner, and then it goes through many cycles of consecutive reactions before it dissociates. The hydrolysis initiates by the binding of cellulobiohydrolase, which is denoted as capital E, to cellulose strand containing in N cellobiose units, which is denoted by Cn, to form an enzyme substrate complex ECN. So after this, it can either produce one cellobio unit, that is C, with a rate constant K2, or dissociate back to enzyme and a cellulose with a dissociation rate constant K3. So the reaction continues with the same steps, but with a shorter cellulose strands in each cycle and with the possibility of dissociation of the enzyme. So after multiple cycles of cleaving cellobiose units, the desorption rate is slowed down because of the inhibition by the cellobiose, leading to the accumulation of the enzyme substrate complex, that is ECX. Since the K2 is larger than K3, so a further decline in the kinetics is also observed. So in this model, the drawback is it assumes that a constant substrate concentration, which is valid only at the beginning of the reaction when it is higher than the concentration of the enzymes. Hence, the accessibility and the affinity of the enzyme to bind to the rest of the cellulose strand is not considered here. So in addition, the inhibition effect is considered only by cellobiose, whereas the monosugars are not considered. So again, this model is modified to include the consideration of enzyme deactivation by an irreversible binding to the substrate. so which is denoted as second mechanism. So here the inhibition of the enzyme during the processive hydrolysis model 2, which is proposed in the assessment of hydrolysis of microcrystalline cellulose, which is composed of amorphous and totally hydrolyzable cellulose. So it is also reported that the decline in the kinetics is due to the enzyme substrate irreversible binding. But the model does not consider enzyme inhibition by the end product and ignores the mass transfer limitations, which are significant in case of heterogeneous reactions. So in the next mechanisms, which was developed by Huang and Peterson, the product inhibition effect, they included the product inhibition effect. Here, the cellulose as a substrate which binds reversibly to the enzymes to form either productive or non-productive enzyme substrate complex. The productive complex may then proceed to forward direction to produce the product P. Once the product is released, the product inhibition might occur upon binding to the enzyme, which is irreversible in this model. So the mechanistic steps are given in the equations 1, 2, 3, 4 as mechanism 3. Actually, in this mechanism, the substrate is presented in two fractions, that is hydrolyzable substrate, which can produce a product upon binding with the enzyme, that is mentioned as SC, and a non-hydrolyzable substrate S, which is denoted as SX, so which results in non-productive binding and also deactivates the enzymes. The reversible binding of the enzyme to the hydrolyzable and non-hydrolyzable substrates and to the products are accounted in this model. So in addition, the active surface concentration, which is represented by SC, is also considered in this model. So the product inhibition, which is represented by the reversible formation of enzyme product complex, is well described in the third mechanism. So in the more recent models, different additions were accounted for, like heterogeneous substrate, degree of polymerization, inhibition effect, rapid decline in the initial rate, the pre-treatment effect. So these are all considered in the recent models. But however, these models are used as a base model for developing the enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose. Next slide. Next slide. So these are the basic mechanisms. We are facing some challenges in the enzymatic hydrolysis of lignocellulose. So the first one is heterogeneous mixture. Yeah, the heterogeneous mixture. Since the lignocellulose is a recalcitrant substrate, it is composed of that it is composed of different components, and some of them may resist the enzyme degradation. And also, in addition, the crystalline cellulose substrate forms a heterogeneous mixture wherein the enzyme, which has to be used in free form, binds to the heterogeneous substrate for the reaction to proceed. So the slow kinetics of enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose are correlated with the heterogeneous nature of the substrate, which affects the diffusion of enzymes to the substrate. In addition, the necessity of using enzyme in a soluble form brings another difficulty in continuous reactor systems as the enzymes. So in this case, the enzymes are continuously lost with the effluent, which makes the processable unfeasible. So due to its low conversion and high cost, the contribution of enzymatic hydrolysis could exceed 50% of the total bioethanol production cost. So this is one challenge. Another one is enzyme inhibition. So there are three pathways by which the enzyme can be inhibited. One is competitive, non-competitive, and uncompetitive inhibition. So in competitive inhibition, the inhibitor competes with the substrate for the active site and bind to only free enzymes. Whereas in non-competitive inhibition, the inhibitor binds only to the enzyme substrate complex. Whereas in contrast, in uncompetitive inhibition, the inhibitor binds to either the free enzyme or the enzyme substrate complex. So in competitive inhibition, the inhibition effect can be reduced by increasing the substrate concentration. So this decreases the chance of inhibitor binding to the enzyme while the K values remain unchanged. But the monod constant value may increases with the substrate loading. But on the other hand, the non-competitive inhibitor acts on the enzyme substrate complex. Hence, the addition of more substrate does not help in the case of inhibition. So these are the challenges of lignocellulose enzymatic hydrolysis. The potential solutions are next slide. One is immobilization and another one is use of membrane technology. So again, immobilization has some advantages and there are some works are available on the immobilization process for the enzymatic hydrolysis of lignocellulose. The major challenge is high cost, recyclability of the enzyme in the large scale production, which is not feasible. So that is the main thing. Even though we have advantages in immobilization, so we have drawbacks. So that is why it is better to go for membrane technology. So the conventional bioreactors are widely used for enzymatic hydrolysis. Nowadays, there are a lot of works are available in the use of membrane reactor for enzymatic hydrolysis. When you compare the conventional reactors, it has some problems. Say, for example, if you take continuous stirred tank reactor, which is commonly used in industry, so it has very high solid loading. Even though it has very high solid loading, but in this type of reactors, enzyme deactivation may be inevitable due to product inhibition and also the shear stress which are generated by the vigorous agitation. So these causes problems to the enzymatic process. Also, the enzyme which are used is in soluble form and also it is in heterogeneous nature of the reactant. This is used as a single pass in the continuous stirred tank reactor. So the enzyme may be lost along with the effluent. So in order to overcome these problems, mainly for a large scale production, we are going for membrane reactors. Next slide. So in most cases, you know that the membrane reactors is an integrated reactor. Mostly this is, I think I missed the diagram here. Okay, anyway. Actually, the membrane reactors, they are promising solution for the product inhibition effect and also the selectivity. So these are the main reason for the selection of membrane bioreactors for enzymatic hydrolysis. So in addition, by using the membranes which has proper molecular weight cutoff, the large size enzyme molecules can be retained, which prevents the loss with the effluent and also for the repeated use for a longer reaction time. So this is one of the another advantage. So at the same time, the smaller product molecules which are separated from the reactions, which needs for additional purification, uh, which eliminates the product inhibition and also maintains enzyme activity. And also in the shear stress which is imposed in CSTR are not here. Next slide.
Sir, is slide is visible, sir?
No, it's not visible.
So just 1 minute, sir. Some technical issues. Just 1 minute, sir. Slide stop ஆயிடுச்சு sir. So now it's visible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So the advantages of membrane reactor or steady tank reactors can be seen in the comparison between the yields of enzymatic hydrolysis, which is achieved using both reaction systems, which I have not shown. I have given some points as advantages over MBR. So, for example, if you take, there is one study in which they use hydrolysis of parchment coffee, which is mainly composed of xylem in a membrane reactor and also in a CSTR, with both in same condition. So the result shows that around 97% conversion within 3 hours for the solid loading of 1 milligram per ml. But when the solid load is increased to 10 milligram per ml, the membrane reactor achieves more than 78%, whereas the STR achieved only 50%. So this shows the advantages or superiority of MBR over CSTR. So the continuous process improved enzyme stability, enhanced product recovery, and increased efficiency. These are the main advantages of MBR. Next slide. So we are having different configurations of MBR. So the different configuration I have given different combinations. So this can be chosen based on the problems we have selected. So in general, the filtration unit is integrated with the bioreactor system, that is MBR. Here the membrane can be a separate unit or a submerged or in contact with the reaction vessel. So you can see the first two diagrams, which is in black and white, the figures A and B. So the reaction is carried out in one vessel, and then the reaction slurry is passed to a different unit where the filtration membrane is placed. So this makes the configuration easier to scale up. So in comparison to the reaction in a batch system, the enzymatic hydrolysis of uh, alumyl residue is performed in a continuous membrane reactor. So this is coupled with the ultrafiltration cross flow filtration mode, which is similar to the figure shown in figure 1, that is in the top figure. So under these conditions, this gives an glucose yield of around 45% within 14 hours. So these are different types of configurations available. So based on the what you call process, we can choose any one of the corporation based on our requirement. The important point should be considered is the selection of membrane materials, that is molecule range, which has to be separated. So for that, the molecular weight cutoff is the main parameter which we have to consider while selecting the membranes. I think that I can discuss in the next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So these are some of the examples of different integrated MBRs which are used in enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose. You can see some of the reactors gives the efficiency of, I think, around 50 to 60%, and 70, and some of them has given more than 90%. Next slide. Yes. So these are the very important point for the selection of membrane bioreactors. The first one is membrane material selection. So this plays key role in membrane bioreactor system. Second one is the membrane fouling, which is the problem the people are facing. And the last one, permeability and selectivity. So these are the main point which we have to consider while selecting the membrane bioreactor. Next slide. For membrane selection, we have to, there are different modules are available. So for the success of membrane reactor to effectively retain the enzyme by easily permeating the products, the properties of membrane should be considered. So the first one, we have to use, there are different modes, microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, and forward osmosis membranes. So in general, the UF and the NF, that is ultrafiltration and nanofiltration, they are commonly used in enzymatic catalysis process. But in ultrafiltration membranes, which has an average pore size in the range of 0.5 to 100 kilodalton, they are the one used to selectively retain the large enzyme molecules in the main hydrolysis reactor. Whereas in nanofiltration membranes, it has an average pore size of 150 to 1000 Dalton. They are usually used to concentrate the product, which are essential for enhancing the downstream processes and also reducing the production cost. So these ultrafiltration membranes can be fabricated using different materials, which include polysulfone, polyether sulfone, cellulose acetate, nylon, and ceramics. The membranes commonly used in membrane bioreactor for enhancing the enzymatic cellulose hydrolysis are the polyether sulfone membranes. So it has a molecular weight cutoff of 10 to 50 kilodalton. So it is mainly due to its hydrophobicity, which gives their ability to effectively reject cellulose enzymes without interfering with the reaction. So the hydrophobicity of PES is found to increase with the membrane fouling. Therefore, the hydrophilic polymers such as uh, polyvinylpredilone are suggested to add to the membrane as anti-fouling agents. So this is one of the solution, but still lot of research are required in order to overcome the membrane foulings. So in order to say that the high water solubility of the added hydrophilic polymers resulted in leaching out during the process, and also the anti-fouling properties didn't last for long, and it lost after multiple usage of the membranes. Whereas the ceramic membranes appears to be interesting for industrial applications because of their high physical and mechanical strengths when compared to PES membranes. So ceramic membranes are advantageous due to its high mechanical strength. So that is why ceramic membranes are preferred in large scales. So there are some studies are available in ceramic membranes for enzymatic hydrolysis process. So actually a membrane with a tubular ceramic membranes is performed with 5 kilodalton molecular weight cutoff with the 3 channels. Actually, it was found that they obtained more than 98% enzyme production in that reactor. So different molecular weight cutoff membranes can be used. So based on the enzyme size molecules, the size of the membranes can vary. Next slide. So these are the very important factor which affects the performance of membranes. So I have divided into, this is divided into two groups. One is based on the enzymatic hydrolysis, that is process. Another one is based on the reactor side. So based on the process side, we have enzyme related factors, that is pH, temperature, product inhibition, enzyme loading, enzyme source, salt, ionic strengths, we know that how these variables are affects the enzymatic hydrolysis process. And the second one, these are all substrate related factors, that is substrate inhibition, mixing rate, solid loading, pre-treat. So these also has very much affects the process. But these factors are also affects the membrane reactor performance. In addition to this, not only the hydrolysis process, it also affects the reactor performance. Usually, we optimize the pH and temperature before going for the process in order to achieve highest activity for the enzyme. So the substrate related factors also affects the MBR performance. Apart from that, the membrane reactor site performance, that is reactor design. So as I shown in the previous slides, there are different configurations are available. Each one have their own advantages and limitations. Based on our requirements, we have to choose the combinations. Then membrane materials used, and then molecular weight cutoff, that also plays very important role. And then the maintenance membrane fouling. So if you are going for membrane reactor, we have to focus on there are 2 or 3 important things. One is the main thing is membrane fouling, how to reduce or how to avoid the membrane fouling. Second one, the cost of the membranes, the shelf life period, the maintenance, the molecular weight cutoff. These are the important factors which has to be considered for the selection of membrane reactors. Next slide. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of different MBR designs. As you can see, there are hybrid MBRs, integrated MBRs. So each one have their own advantages. If you go for hybrid MBRs, this is easy to scale up. The membranes used are advantages, but the drawbacks are there are multiple units, enzyme loss and deactivation may occur. So pressurized pumping means it increases the cost of operation. The energy, that is, the energy consumption will be more. Fouling may also occur. So that is why it is called as economically unfeasible. Whereas in integrated membrane reactors, this is a simple setup. So economically, this is feasible. The drawback is the enzyme deactivation and severe membrane fouling. These are the drawbacks in the case of integrated membranes reactors. Whereas the combined reactors, which are shown in the last columns, even though they are having very good advantages, there are drawbacks. There is solid loading is limited. That is, you can't increase the solid loading rate, which is required in industrial application side. Next slide. So the practical applications of membrane reactor for cellulose hydrolysis, mainly the hydrolysis is done to produce end product as biofuels like ethanol, mainly ethanol. But also in food industry also, the hydrolysis of cellulose is done. And also in some cases, wastewater for wastewater treatment also it is performed. So in all these 3 fields, MBRs are widely used for cellulose hydrolysis. But still there are research gaps are available in this field, especially in food industry. peoples, those who want to work in MBR, we can concentrate on that side also. Next slide. So the future direction and challenges. So first one, as I told earlier, the membrane performance. So we have to develop membranes with higher flux, lower fouling, and better enzyme retention properties. So these are the specific requirements as far as MBR is concerned in the enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose. And then second one, optimization. We have to improve all the factors in order to enhance the life of membranes and also for continuous production of enzymes. So as we know, during scale up, there are a lot of problems are there. When we do it in the laboratory scale, it is very easy to achieve the desired yield. But when we go for scale up, there are a lot of problems. So we have to consider those things. Then the last one, cost reduction. Nowadays, people are focusing on production of low cost membranes. So that reduces the overall cost of the process. Next. So to conclude this, we have to develop membrane reactors with low cost, with low foulings and enhanced shelf life, with enhanced production. So the research are a lot of research are required for that one. Thank you. If you have any questions, we can discuss now.
Participants, do you want any interaction with session expert? Participants, do you have any questions or any interaction with session expert? Sir, there is a question in message box, sir. What are the challenges facing during design into real time of membrane reactors? Asked by Prabhakaran. Sir?
Yeah, one second.
Okay, sir. Shall I repeat the question, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, what are the challenges facing during a design into the real time of the membrane reactors?
One second. As I said, yeah, I opened the challenges facing during the design into real time of membrane reactors. Again, The first thing is selection of membranes, its permeability, uh, stability of membrane, the flow dynamics. Usually, when we operate in laboratory scale, we used to have a very small quantity of uh, liquids we are handling. But when we go for higher, what do you call the industry scale, we have to handle a large amount of amount, which requires more stability as far as membranes are concerned. So that has to be taken into account while designing the large scale membrane reactors. In addition to that, we have again the fouling, the permeability, cast. So these are all the major things which we have to consider while go for industrial scales. Any other question?
Dear participants, do you have any other questions? I think no more questions, sir. Okay, sir. Finally, now I invite Miss Aswini, Assistant Professor, Sri Venkateswara High Tech Engineering College, to deliver the keynote address of the session 10.
I sincerely thank our esteemed speaker for his insightful and valuable contribution to this session. And now I give you the summary of this session. The enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose is a crucial step in converting lignocellulosic biomass into fermentable sugars for biofuel and biochemical production. Membrane reactors offer a promising approach to enhance this process by facilitating enzyme reuse, improving product recovery, and maintaining optimal reaction conditions. These reactors integrate selective membranes to retain enzymes while allowing hydrolyzed sugars to pass through, increasing efficiency and reducing costs. Advances in membrane technology, enzyme immobilization, and process optimization have significantly improved cellulose hydrolysis yields, making this approach more viable for industrial application. The integration of membrane reactors in biorefineries represents a sustainable and economically feasible solution for biomass conversion. Thank you once again for this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Pavitra ma'am, Assistant Professor, English Department, Sri Venkateswara High Tech Engineering College, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
As we conclude today's informative lecture on the topic of enzymatic hydrolysis of cellulose by membrane reactors, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude on behalf of Sri Venkateswara High Tech Engineering College to our today's 10th session speaker, Dr. M. Rajasimhan, sir. Your lecture is very interesting and thoughtful, sir, and we appreciate your time and effort you devoted to preparing this session. We have learned so much from you, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today, sir. Once again, I express my gratitude to all our participants for their active participation in this session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you
thank you
all.
so much
Thank
for.
you. Yeah, something. Thank you, Principal Sir and Chairman Sir, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, I was little bit busy and I have gone through, I have little bit rushed up the presentation. Sorry for that. Anyhow, thanks for bearing me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dear participants, your feedback form for this session 10 is updated in the message session, same as well as in our WhatsApp group also. So kindly update your feedback for this session 10. So once again the important announcement, day 6, tomorrow is the final day of our FDP. The session of 2 to 3:30 p.m. session was preponed to 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So kindly note it, our session was preponed. The session 11 is actually planned for 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. due to the external expert from foreign. Due to the timing issue, we have preponed to 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So kindly tomorrow morning I will share the Google Meet link. Kindly attend the session as possible as. Thank you so much for your contribution. Any other questions? Any other requirements? Check your attendance in the Atal portal. Okay, participants, I think there was no more interaction. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you.